Let's go back to our top story now. Anwa Dramat will know whether his suspension will be overturned or not by the end of this week. The Helen Suzman Foundation is challenging his suspension by the police ministry. Reporter Karen Morn joins us now from outside court. Hi there, Karen. Just take us through the argument heard in court this morning.
Well, essentially what the Helen Suzman Foundation has argued is that in the wake of a November decision last year by the Constitutional Court, the Minister of Police no longer has untrammeled power to merely suspend the Hawks Head without proper consultation with Parliament and without an investigation going ahead by a parliamentary committee. Of course, the Minister is fighting that. This is a very important case in terms of the constitutional legality of the Minister's actions, but also on the sidelines of this case, a very fascinating kind of drama playing itself out, with the Minister's spokesperson confirming just a few moments ago that in fact Anwa Dramat has been meeting or will meet with the Minister later this morning. Musa Zondi saying that this was quote unquote not a witch hunt, a very much a profound attempt to refute allegations made or suggested by Anwa Dramat in a certain letter to the Minister that in fact his suspension off the back of allegations that he and the Hawks were involved in the illegal rendition of Zimbabweans was a smokescreen and somehow designed because of the fact that the Hawks were involved in a number of high-profile investigations. Musa Zondi telling us that he would be able to report back on the outcome of that meeting, but suggesting that a compromise could be reached, Joanne. And that was one of the central arguments made by counsel for the Minister, saying that it really wasn't up to the Helen Suzman Foundation to challenge Dramat's suspension, that he should have done that, and that he made it very clear in correspondence with the Minister that he wanted to meet and seek what they said was a consensus.
You know, many people are asking what is the Helen Suzman Foundation's motivation in bringing this case to court?
Well, remember, they were integrally involved too, with those constitutional court challenges, seeking to really support the notion of the Hawks as an independent elite police unit. And so they were centrally involved in that application, which resulted in the November Constitutional Court decision that the Minister cannot simply suspend the Hawks Head without following proper parliamentary processes. They're arguing that they're not here for Anwa Dramat. They're here, they say, for the rule of law and for the principle that underpins what they said was the Minister's blatantly illegal and unlawful action, that they are trying to defend the ground they won in the Constitutional Court, and that this case is not about Anwa Dramat, it is about rule of law and the Minister's behavior in the context of the Constitutional Court ruling.
Of course, the Minister argues he had no choice but to suspend Dramat over the rendition allegations, but we know that IPID has also done an investigation into this issue, but what is not clear to us at this point is whether Dramat was exonerated or not in this report.
Interestingly enough, Joanne, the counsel for the Helen Suzman Foundation, David Huntelter, telling the court that after the Minister made comments about that IPID report and suggested that this claim that somehow Dramat had been exonerated by it hadn't necessarily been viewed in context, had actually asked for a copy of that IPID report so that they could be conversant with its contents. They were told that the report was irrelevant and denied access to it. And as you said, until such time as there's real concrete analysis and understanding of what that report actually says, this kind of speculation will continue. Of course, the Minister saying that whatever IPID said, he is legally empowered to conduct his own investigation, and also suggesting very powerfully and stating on record that the IPID investigation is still open. Certainly from the people that we have spoken to within that investigation, I think there are real questions about whether or not there was an exoneration, or those who powered that investigation simply feel that there is not enough evidence to justify a criminal charge, which is a very different animal altogether.
I see that the Minister's lawyer has also said even if the Foundation successfully challenges this suspension of Dramat, it doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be reinstated.
Well, they're arguing effectively that the Helen Suzman Foundation did not ask explicitly for an order from this court that stated that Anwa Dramat would be reinstated. They'd asked that his suspension be ruled unlawful and that the incumbent who'd been placed in that position, his appointment be ruled unlawful. But they're saying effectively that because the Helen Suzman Foundation did not ask for that reinstatement, doesn't necessarily mean it should happen, and they argue very powerfully that it shouldn't. However, the Helen Suzman Foundation's lawyers arguing that the effect of a finding that the suspension was unlawful is to return, as David Interhalter put it, push back the clock to the time before the decision or the unlawful decision was made, which would of course mean that Anwa Dramat was still in his position. Interestingly enough, Joanne, we know that Anwa Dramat, in that letter to the minister, which has been so widely publicized, said in fact that he would be very happy to take early retirement if his suspension was lifted and some kind of amicable resolution could be reached. So we sit now with a situation where we know there are these parallel negotiations going on between the police minister and the Dramat, and this court challenge to the legality of the suspension playing itself out in the court. And if this matter is resolved between the minister and Dramat and some kind of settlement is reached and he agrees to walk away quietly, what happens then?
That's a very important question. Karen Morn perhaps will be able to answer that in a few days once that judgment is handed down. She was live to us from the North Gauteng High Court. Headlines are next.